PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.
Welcome to PharmaVentures Insights at Genesis London. Great science requires a few things to become a great therapeutic. For example, translational funding, knowledge about the commercialization of the science. Now there's a company here in the UK who has put together all of these different features. Today on the show I have Richard Butt, CEO of Apollo Therapeutics. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
So Apollo Therapeutics, let's talk about the company first, has a very interesting model.
Yep.
Came together as a collaborative venture between 3 world-leading universities in the UK and also 3 big pharma companies. Can you tell us a bit more about the model?
Yes, absolutely. So it really is innovative, as you say, and it's the first time that three world-leading universities, so 3 of the top 10 globally in bioscience and 3 pharmas, largely based in the UK, have actually come together to form this kind of venture. And the way it started really initially came from the universities, who still recognised that there was a large untapped pool of basic science that's going on at those universities, which required more translational funding and more drug discovery expertise to really exploit the opportunities into new therapeutics. And so the universities, really the 3 university tech transfer offices got together and talked to the 3 pharmas who were, I think, very happy to invest in really trying to find good new ideas in the universities for early stage drug discovery programs. And so that's how Apollo was formed. And there are 6 partners who we work with to really try and increase the translational funding and scope of what we can develop from the university research.
Great. So I understand that Apollo provides translational funding for the sciences and also provides sort of the drug commercialization, drug discovery expertise. How does it actually work?
Yeah, so it's much more than providing the funding. So we do provide the funding, but we really provide a drug discovery capability within the university organisation. So I consider, because we're invested in by the tech transfer offices at UCL and Imperial and Cambridge, I consider us part of the infrastructure at those universities. And so we go in, we're covered under a blanket confidentiality agreement at all 3. We can go in and talk to anyone at any time about the science that they're doing and see if we believe it would make a good drug discovery project from our experience within the industry. Once we've identified a project, we will then, with the academic, put a drug discovery plan together. We work an entirely outsourced model, so we will outsource and fund and run with the academic as a key part of the project team a drug discovery program, a pharma quality drug discovery program, with the intention that it's then licensed to hopefully one of the 3 pharmas who've invested in us down the line, but if not, we can license to any other player in the biopharm world.
So the R&D happens within the universities?
The R&D happens at a combination of places, so usually some of the R&D happens at the universities, but often the expertise we need is provided by expert CROs that we use around the globe.
Sure. So Apollo currently has a few programs in a lot of different areas, so macular degeneration, HRV vaccines, and so on.
Yep.
How do you come up with these programs, and what's your strategy in choosing these different therapy areas?
Yeah, so our strategy is very much focused on investing in the best scientific opportunity. So we don't have a strategy around therapy area or drug modality. So as you say, we've got programs in vaccines, in large molecules, in small molecules, in gene therapies and in cell therapies at the moment. So it really covers the whole range of modalities, but also a whole range of therapy areas, from cancer to respiratory disease to pulmonary hypertension to gene therapies in rare diseases and retinal degeneration, as you suggest. So our strategy is really based entirely on what makes the best science, and do we think that based on that science there's a therapeutic we could develop and a medical need where it would be useful.
So you started off with funding from 3 universities, 3 pharmas.
Yep.
And since the beginning of Apollo, you've developed a few programs, and of course with all of this R&D going on, it requires a lot of capital.
Yep.
How have you come thus far, and do you have plans to raise more funding in the near future or in the distant future?
Yeah, so the way that the capital worked initially is each of the pharmas committed £10 million, and each of the universities 3.25 million. So essentially we're 25% funded by each of the pharma companies and 25% funded by the universities collectively. That our business plan at the moment covers a 6 or 7 year period. We're a closed fund currently, but it covers a 6 or 7 year period, and at some point I'm sure we'll seek additional funding. But our main focus at the moment is especially in the early stages, is identifying good projects, prosecuting those programs and driving them towards candidates which we can then out-license. Certainly I think that'll be the focus in the short term. And once we've shown some success, I think, which, you know, you could argue that we're getting there, because there's certainly the projects out there to invest in and to run projects for. But once we've shown some more success, I'm sure that there'll be appetite to refund or refinance down the line.
And is your strategy to keep going as Apollo Therapeutics as a standalone company, or because often biotech companies exit via an IPO or being acquired by a big pharma company? Or what's your plan with Apollo?
Yeah, so we so probably get a bit technical. We aren't actually a limited company, so we're a limited liability partnership between those 6 partners. So I think we would. Those options around IPOing and the rest of it aren't available to us. I think what will be. I think we'll give more thought to that in our next round of financing once we've shown some success with the projects we're running currently.
Great. So you as yourself, you've had an interesting journey so far in the pharma world. You've spent about 20 years in Pfizer, specializing in a lot of different areas: drug discovery, commercialization, neuroscience, etc. And after all that time, you came to Apollo. There must have been something special for you to have chosen this company. Yeah,
absolutely. So yes, my time at Pfizer was just a fantastic training ground in many aspects of drug discovery. So I joined there as a molecular biologist in the late 90s, and then spent time in several therapy areas, also in some regulatory tox and safety pharma area, and for the last 6 or 7 years in the clinical group, running everything from phase 0 to phase 2 clinical trials. So that, I think, gave me, I felt, a really good breadth of experience over everything from early discovery projects all the way through to what we need to do in terms of clinical trials and providing drugs that are going to be effective for patients. So what Apollo gave me was a chance to work with, as we've said, 3 of the leading universities, and all of the opportunity that the basic research that's going on in those universities provides to build a really compelling portfolio based on the best science. And to be able to put that portfolio together and then prosecute it in a company with a small number of really dedicated, highly skilled people was the thing that really drew me into it.
When do you anticipate for us to hear about the first success from Apollo Therapeutics?
Yeah, so also what's interesting is our project plans vary in time from probably 6 months to 4 years. So the first ones of the shorter of those projects we should be hearing about, I would have thought, if very optimistically this time next year, maybe into 2019, for us to have done some work, create some value, and then license those projects.
Maybe we can catch up next year at this time again.
That would be fantastic.
Well, great. Richard, thank you so much for your time today. It's a very interesting model. Collaboration is key, we all say and hear, and I feel like Apollo Therapeutics is really at the forefront of doing just that.
Yep, let's hope so.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
For more information about PharmaVentures, visit our website